Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things I've learned along the way and things that have happened to me. And some of the things I tell on here have life lessons to them, and some of them are just stories. And today the one I'm going to tell is just kind of a little story about my life, and it's about Pee-Pee right here, Duncan, but we call him Pee-Pee. And let me tell you how I came about doing this video today. On Sunday, we went to a brunch that my friend Melissa puts on every year, and my friend Melissa is the president of a dog rescue in Indianapolis, and they do transports across the country, and she's just the president of the Indianapolis chapter. But I talked about this on my vlog last night, or the one that I posted today. We went to it last year, we went to it today, and I always get to hear the stories that Melissa tells me about going to pick up these dogs and finding them the homes. And my friend Tanya has done a lot with dog rescues because she owns a dog kennel, and I've just been surrounded by dogs my entire life, and I love dogs, and I've been blessed to have amazing dogs. I also, before Pee-Pee, I had an extremely, extremely aggressive Jack Russell, and a lot of people have asked me to talk about that on here. The short story of that is, and I'll tell it in length sometime on here, but the short story of that is that I got my dog before as a sobriety dog, and he ended up being an inbred Jack Russell Terrier that was extremely, extremely, extremely aggressive. He bit my two exes, horribly, to the point where my ex, that was a hairstylist, had to go to the emergency room. Things like he couldn't go into work one day. I was bit here. My dad told me that it was like an inch away from the carotid artery or whatever, and that I could have been dead. I would kennel him a lot with my friend, and she would say, Peter, there's just something organically not right about this dog, and I think he's so inbred that there's something wrong with him. I believe so firmly in not just getting rid of dogs if they are aggressive or there's something wrong with them. And the problem was that every expert told us, this is not a dog that you can put on a farm because he will aggressively attack other animals. This is not a dog that you can have in another home, even if it's with somebody elderly, because I couldn't even put his food down, because if I put his food down with him in the same room, he would attack my hand. I had this dog for 11 years, and he started having some medical complications towards the end, and I do believe that his medical issues, they were horrible. They came out and they just happened really quick. And it happened at the same time that I met Alex. And, so Alex really, we had talked a lot about moving in together, and Alex had Pee-Pee. And Pee-Pee at the time was, Pee-Pee, how old were you? He said. I said, how old were you? He said, well, he likes to give a lot of kisses. He was 2 years old. His birthday is in April, and he will be this year 12. He will be 12 years old. Now get your Kleenex out, because I'm gonna cry a lot in this video. So anyway, this is kind of how this video came about. We went to the dog rescue the other day thing, and we came home, and there were all these sad stories, and they were telling about these dogs and stuff. And I was lying in bed, and if you watch my videos consistently, you know that we found out recently that Pee-Pee has heart disease. And the vet said to Pee-Pee, or the vet said to me, he said, what am I looking at realistically? And she said, I would really like to get him to 13 and a half, and he's going to be 12 in April. And so we were laying in bed the other day, and I talk to the dogs. I have voices for the dogs. You guys know that if you watch my videos with like Boo Radley and stuff. And one of the things I always say to Pee-Pee is I say, who's your best friend? Who's your best friend? Because I'm his best friend in the whole entire world. Alex is his dad, and I'm his best friend. And so Alex said to me, he goes, why don't you make a video talking about how you met Pee-Pee? And I said, I don't know that I can do that. And he goes, well, at least down the road, it'll be something that you have on video, And I said, okay, well, I'll do that. And I just finished reading Lily and the Octopus, which was about this guy who had this dog named Lily, and she got sick. And, I love the book, The Art of Racing in the Rain. It's probably one of my all-time favorite books of life. And that's very similar. It's a book about, a dog that gets sick and knows it has to be put down, and the whole thing's told from the dog's point of view. So I thought, well, I'll get on here and I'll tell my story with Pee-Pee. And, then someday I can look back at this and it'll mean something for me. So I'm trying to put him in a lot of videos. If you've noticed a lot recently, I'm trying to put all my dogs in videos. My mom passed away 10 years ago this year, and I don't have any video of her, none of it. I have one video on a VCR tape of my cousin's wedding when she spoke for 2 minutes, and I haven't had the balls yet to watch it. So I really want to have people in my life on video. That's important to me. It's one of the reasons why I started vlogging. So I would have this, well, come here. Well, come here, honey. Tucker's over here, and Boo Radley's down, and Boo Radley said, I want to be in the video too, Dad. You want to be in the video? He said, I just kind of like to sit up there and listen to you. So this is what happened. So I met Alex, and we started dating, and Alex, sit down, honey. People ask all the time why Boo Radley shakes. He shakes all the time. We don't know why. It's just something to do with his breed. So anyway, Chi-Chi's, Chihuahuas, they shake too. They're like this always. So anyway, I met Alex, and this is our 10th year together, so this was 10 years ago, and he had Pee-Pee already, and Pee-Pee was a gift from Alex's ex. And I don't have any issues with Alex's ex, and Alex doesn't really talk to him. He doesn't have any issues with him anymore. But if I ever had a chance to come in contact with him and really have a heart-to-heart, the last time I saw him was in a grocery store, and I would say to him, you know, thank you so much for bringing this dog into my life. Like, I don't think you had any idea what you were doing at the time. Alex really wanted a Chihuahua, and he got him a Chihuahua. And now the story that I tell Pee-Pee is, do you hear this back here? Boo Radley is digging his hole in the ground. The story I tell Pee-Pee, now Pee-Pee doesn't remember that, okay? What he remembers is the day that I went to the farm and I picked him out specifically, and that he came home to live with me and his dad. And he's been happy ever since. He likes that story much better, okay? So we tell that story. Sometimes we tell stories about his mom is the oldest living Chihuahua, and her name is Mrs. Pee-Pee, and someday she might come to visit. We tell those stories too. So anyway, I met Pee-Pee one afternoon when I went over to Alex's house, and Alex, okay, Boo Radley, sweetheart, that's enough. Maybe just sit down. So I met Pee-Pee one day. I went over to Alex's house to pick him up to go to dinner, and Alex was like, he had to take a shower and stuff, and Alex still lived at his mom's house, and Pee-Pee was there. So Alex was like, well, you can meet the dog and all this kind of stuff. So I come in the house, and I go upstairs, and I'm like sitting there in Alex's bed, and he used to have this like this very like futon mattress kind of thing on the floor, and I didn't, you know, see the dog anywhere and whatever. And so like I sat down on the bed, and all of a sudden Pee-Pee comes running out, and he just like darts out from underneath his bed, and he's chasing the cats in the hallway, and he's going around, and he's going crazy and all this kind of stuff. And Boo Radley, okay, sweetie, like you need to sit down, honey. So Pee-Pee comes darting out, and he's like, phew, phew. And I'm like, oh my God, is this Pee-Pee? So there he is, and that's Pee-Pee. And people ask all the time, how did he get his name? Do you want to tell how you got your name? He goes, it's so embarrassing, but Pee-Pee's Pee-Pee is always showing. So Alex's best friend Sarah named him Pee-Pee, and we just call him Pee-Pee now. If we call him Duncan, Duncan. Okay, watch this. His uncle, Fufu, which that's not his real name is Juan Carlos. Sorry, Fufu, but we call him Fufu. Calls him, are you ready? Watch his ears. He calls him Donkino. And he remembers that from when he was a baby. Donkino. He likes to think that he's Count Donkino. So anyway, so that was when the first time I ever met Pee-Pee, and I fell in love with him, right? So Alex was staying with me almost like 80% of the time, and you know, he would come over and whatever, and and Alex was like, I want to move in, but here's my condition. Pee-Pee has to come with me. Like, I'm not moving in without my dog. And I said, okay. So we tried to get Pee-Pee and my dog together, and my dog had one look at Pee-Pee and was like, I'm gonna kill him, right? So I was like, this isn't gonna work. We cannot do this. So I called my friend Tanya, and at the time, my Jack Russell was 11 years old, and Tanya said, Peter, you have given that dog a really, really good life. It has a lot of medical issues. The vet is telling you it's probably not gonna live 6 more months. It's time. And so that whole story I've told on a vlog, and I'll tell it another time about what happened, because those 2 days of me having to make that decision were probably one of the hardest decisions I've ever made in my entire life, besides you know, the decisions about my mom. So anyway, when it comes to animals, you know, that unconditionally love us, even if they're aggressive, they don't really understand. I really, really struggle with cruelty towards animals. And I will say this, and I said this on my vlog last night, I want to say this very clearly. I think there is a special place in hell for people that hurt animals. I really believe that, okay? And I hope that they are forgiven, and I hope that they see the errors in their way. But when I see somebody even a little bit mistreat an animal, they are not in my life, period. They're not in my life at all. I do not understand somebody that has the capacity to hurt an animal in any way whatsoever. So anyway, so at that point then, I had my dog put down, but before then, and that was probably one of the 3 hardest days of my entire life. Before then, Alex decided that the best way for me to get over it was to get a puppy. So he found these puppies that were very cute. I talked to Tanya and I said, like, what's a good dog to get? And she said, anything that has a Maltese in it, are very docile, right? And so, and at the time, I was scared. Like when Pee-Pee, I lift him up and he kisses my face, I would never have had Pee-Pee near my face, near me. I was terrified of dogs. Like I was scared to touch them. And that was a condition that I had lived in for 11 years of being afraid of an animal. And that's horrifying, you know? And out of need of keeping this dog alive because I felt like, what am I supposed to do, you know? Just because he's an aggressive dog? So, I mean, my mother never came to my apartment. I never had friends over. It was horrible. So we go down and so Alex calls me on a Saturday. And he's like, they have these dogs. There's 2 of them left. We can go down there and get a puppy. So I go down there and we go look at these dogs. And let me just tell you, I thought it was kismet because the mother of Boo and Tucker, okay, this woman who owned the dog, her friend had just given birth, was a Chihuahua, had just given birth to a litter of puppies, and the mother had died during childbirth, and Boo and Tucker's mom was letting them feed on her. Okay, so we go down there, and there's this crate, right? And it has Boo and Tucker in it. And I've shown pictures of Boo and Tucker before when they were so cute when we first got them. And I'll tell the Boo and Tucker story sometime on here. But we both look at these dogs, right? And I go, he is so cute. And Alex goes, I know, right? Well, we both go down to like reach, and we pick up another dog. I pick up Boo, and Alex picks up Tucker. And what's so weird is that I'm such a believer in imprinting to this day, because Tucker is such Alex's dog, and Boo Radley is such my dog, you know? But anyway, we brought them home, and they were little puppies. We were only going to get one, and the woman said, this one, the one that Boo, he's a little slow, so his other brother protects him and watches out for him. We've noticed. I won't let them go alone. You have to take both of them, and so we took both of them. And so we were keeping them in a cage in the bathroom. Pee-Pee was sleeping in bed, and the Jack Russell was in the basement. It was hell, okay? And that was for a week. So then, after I had the Jack Russell put down, you know, Pee-Pee would sleep in the bed, and then, you know, Boo and Tucker would sleep. We call it in their house. They love it. We crate trained them. And they are 3 of the most docile animals I have ever seen in my entire life. Pee-Pee was raised in a house in Bloomington, Indiana at IU with 5 people. He's very socialized. We would be in the car, and Alex would be, like, eating french fries, and Pee-Pee would, like, put his head this way, and Alex would go, window, Pee-Pee, and Pee-Pee would go. He's so cute, okay? And when I got him from the farm, he was like this big, and he's not, is he? He says, no, he goes, I'm bigger now, and he says, and one of my favorite things is to eat treats. I love treats, and you're gonna get all kinds of treats when we get off here. This dog has sat next to my feet while I wrote my book every night, and we would walk outside. I take him on rides. He's my best friend in the entire world. And I can't really imagine my life without him. And if you've ever had a dog, I'm sure if you've lost a dog or you've had a dog that got sick or your dog is getting older, you feel the same way. And he sleeps next to my leg every night. I can't sleep if he doesn't. He's always at home when I come home. And he's just the most special thing in the entire world, aren't you? Yes. And that is how I met Pee-Pee. And, you know, I truly, truly believe that animals, whether they're dogs or cats or fish or whatever, enrich our lives. I think it gives us meaning. I think it gives us purpose to come home to animals that are waiting for us, that know nothing but us, you know. I've said this in a vlog. I was watching this documentary on the ASPCA, and they showed this whole thing about people that rescue dogs. And this woman said in there, she said, they would show this litter of dogs that have been born. And she said, there are some dogs that have never known anything but fear. And I can't imagine your whole entire life, you know, and there are people that live the same way. But I think on some level we conceptualize, we can understand as human beings, you know, where that comes from, or that true evil puts fear onto people. Even if we're in horrible situations, even if there's situations that we can't currently get out of, to some level we can kind of understand it. And I'm not excusing it, but I'm saying for animals, they don't understand it. Animals don't know anything but us. They don't know anything but their owners and the people that take care of them. And that's such a magical relationship that we have. I will always have dogs in my life. I will always, even if it's just one. Some nights I lay in bed and I think to myself, I just wish I could stop time right now, where Pee-Pee would be here forever, and Boo and Tucker would just run around and, you know, sleep. And Tucker sleeps in the pillow between Alex and I, and Boo sleeps right here on me, and Pee-Pee sleeps at our feet. And I just wish, you know, sometimes that time would stop and we wouldn't grow older. But I will always remember all of the good times of PP, you know, and I hope that he'll live to be 18. We have him on medicine now, and he's doing much better. He was coughing all day. We now have his cough down to about 1 time a day. And, you know, I think that life sometimes is not about prolonging the inevitable, but life is about the memories, and we have to remember that, and we have to live each day as if it's our last. And one of the things that this has done is it has made me appreciate all of my dogs so much more, and all of the dogs that have been in my life. I have been so blessed to have so many amazing dogs. I was raised around dogs. I had a wire-haired fox terrier and an Airedale and Yorkies with my dad and my mom. And, you know, I've just been very, very blessed to have some amazing dogs. And PP he is absolutely amazing. So that's the story of how I met PP. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.